All right, good morning. I had a question about the different versions of the books. I think it's about the books. So, the oldest currently available version of the big book, and when I call it the big book, I'm referring to all eight career sports games. The small coil with this cover, version 2.5 of this book. So understand that the 2.5 is referring to the actual version of the big book, which has slightly different versions of the eight games in it. This is the oldest currently available, right? Version 2.5. Then there's the small coil that was put out, I think, in June or something of this year. This was the proof book, so it doesn't have a title on it. So the cover that you the cover of this the small coil version 4, the most updated version of all the games in the small coil, which does say Big Country Time Sports on it. It's just not on this, as it's my working proof book. That is the latest version of all of the Big Country Time 8 games, right? So this would be the single oldest that's still available. This is the newest version of all of them. Then there's the big book, the big coil bound that shares the same cover as the small, but this is really version 3.5. This has been updated as of this morning to premium paper, coated premium paper, and nothing in the book has changed. It's just the quality of the book has been updated. So I just got a email from Lulu saying all prices were going to go up again, and so I had to go through my books. And because the price of the cost of printing went up, I went ahead and said, for this size book, I'll go ahead and make it the best possible quality. Still coil bound for ease of play, but it's highest possible paper, coated paper, and highest possible printing quality on the paper to justify the price increase. But these versions are really like 3.5. So this is the oldest version of the book, 2.5. The biggest. How would you know you have the old? Obviously, if you have this version, you know you have 2.5 because it's the only small coil I ever produced, and it's 209 pages. It has a couple of features in it. This is still available. It has the touchdown scoring chart. It does not have coaching styles, so the basketball game does not have the coaching styles in it, which was a big update for basketball. And at the very end of this particular book, it had a special players. It had a special Big Country off-season player paradigm for individual rosters. You know, whether players improve to a plus rating or lose a plus rating, whether they stay the same, whether they retire. So it had kind of this for all the teams, all the leagues that you use individual players. This was kind of an easy way to move players through progress players through an age paradigm. That is in version 2.5. Okay, so that's the difference. Version 4, those things aren't in there, right? So we don't have the player paradigm at the back of the book. However, this version, of course, the biggest update for this was the color. I mean, the pages are. You can see the color of the book. The pages also are a cream cover. But you'll notice that it has the coaching styles, which this version does not. So you just play. This version actually has what the coach does with this team. So there's coaching styles, which are optional in the game. You don't have to use them, but every team has one. Plus, it describes in the rules how those affect play. Okay. That's the new version, and the the boxing games career mode had been streamlined. If I can find the boxing game, so this career mode had been simplified for the boxing game. So the page 52, Boxing Time Peak Career Concept, that is in version 4. It's a little simpler. career mode, as opposed to these versions, which you actually have money that you can spend to improve your boxer. Okay, so the oldest possible version of the games is still available. The brand new 4th edition version in the small coil is available. The big book is version 3, right? Kind of 275 to 3.25. So this has, of course, large format, and it has all the teams, but the coaching styles, the teams had not been given their coaching styles yet. But yet coaching styles, look at that here. I'm trying to find if it's in this book version. Yeah, so the coaching styles are in the book and how they affect play, but the teams in the book had not been individually assigned the style. So these teams are in this book, but they don't have a style attached to them, right? Because it's completely optional. So in this book, I introduce it. It's optional. Go ahead and use them. Don't use them. Assign them to your coach, whatever you want to do. But the teams, I had not assigned a style to because it was completely optional. How do you know that it's the advanced version of the Big Country games as opposed to time games? Is the players have alphabet ratings, A through F, as opposed to numbers. So on the time engine, a basketball player might be a 2+. In the Big Country versions, they're a letter grade. So that's a big way to tell whether you're playing a Big Country game or a time game. Okay, what else? Baseball didn't change. I believe this one still has, this one still has credit. So when you create a boxer, so this is the full career mode. I shouldn't say full. They're both full career modes. It's just this simplifies the career mode. This still has money that you have to spend and that you can spend if you, by choice, to try to improve your boxer. So this one's a little more, it's got a financial, kind of a simple financial system, which is fun because it gives you more kind of control of your boxer, but also it puts a little pressure on you. If you run out of money, your career's over kind of thing. So that's the big difference right there. And this big version, as it was updated this morning, has art in it. This is the first version I ever did. Does not have art in it. So this big version now updated has art in it. It has again premier paper, premier coated paper, and it's still coil bound. And again, that had to be done because the price of this book at that point was going to be too high, and if I'm going to have to increase the price, I've got to make the book worth more. So I just did. But the interior guts of the rules did not change, but there is some art in it, and of course the paper and quality and all that is now premier coil coated. So for those who are curious, if you bought this small coil bound, spiral bound, that's version 2.5 of all the games. There's some stuff in this that was eventually removed, and of course typos. There were a lot of typos, and one way you know is what version is whether it has basketball coaching styles in it, in the career mode, of course, for boxing. This, of course, simplified and cleaned up all the rules, all the writing, changed the font to a font that's really, I think, a little more, and it's, of course, it's just, I think, more aesthetically attractive. No art in it, of course. All the basketball teams now are featured on their own page with their own, so it's just more, I don't know, it's just more aesthetically attractive, I think. Anyway, that's the version 4. Oh, and the racing game, I think I simplified the sheer number of teams, if I remember right. This had, at one point, no, it has all the full teams, so it is the same. There was a tweak to the push rules, the original racing. This might have it, though. Racing time used to not have what was called push. I added push to make it a lot more intense. I don't believe this version requires you make a push check. Nope, it is. So it's the latest version of racing with the push option, right? So this is the latest. I thought so. And then, of course, version 4, again, just cleaned it up. And I think I changed the career mode stuff in the version 4 racing. One version of racing used to have a financial module, which was just too much to track for all the teams, all the drivers. So there's some little things like that that change. The actual rules of how you play the games rarely changed. A lot of the charts, for instance, once the original games came out, the charts never changed in a lot of these games. So they were little things like a typo or a fix in the, like something I forgot to put in the boxing notes or whatever. So the oldest 2.5, the newest 4.0 small coil, and then there's the big coil, which has seen a couple of changes and tweaks over the last couple of years. The biggest of late is there's art added. I'm using the same font, I believe. I mean, I don't even have the latest. It might still be this font, but it does have art in it. And of course, it would be like version 3 of the rules. So it's kind of 2.5, 3, 3.5, and the latest 4. So that's just been a question out there. If any of them are the paperback books with perfect binding, paperback glossy covers with racing or boxing on the cover. I think the racing on the cover of those, or football, might be a football player on the cover of those. 7x10 comic book size. They're not called comic book, they're 7x10, which is considered the comic book size, but I don't call them the comic book. For these, those are going to be versions like 1.5 up to 2.0. Those paperbacks are no longer for sale. They haven't been for sale for a long time. So the old paperback 7x10 versions of the Big Country Time Sports, they would be versions 1.5 to 2 of this book. And those are no longer for sale. So those are the oldest. Those would be the single oldest versions of the big book. But the oldest version still available, 2.5. The newest version available, 4. And then, of course, the big book is still like versions 3.5, but the big change is art. Because the book's big, I can squeeze art into the book. I mean, since the pages are big, I could squeeze some art in and things like that. So, anyway, that might help for those of you who already own a version. I believe this was the February version, February 2025, so this would be version 3. Right, between 2.5 and 4, this would have been version 3. So for those who have this book, think of it as version 3 of this book, but it's also going to be the updated rules. It's just the basketball teams. The styles are here as opposed to also attached to teams. What else? The baseball game has never changed. It has been, for me, start to finish, baseball has been, it just hasn't required any tweaking. It's just been absolutely perfect from the outset. For me, for what I'm trying to do. Not perfect game, but perfect. It hasn't required any tweaks. Boxing, the only change was not to the game engine, the ratings, or the charts. It was to the career mode, right? Do we want to have money and credits involved and mess around with money and credits? Or do I want to simplify the career mode, which is what happened here? But the rules didn't change. None of the charts changed. None of the rules changed. All that changed, none of the ratings for the boxers changed. All that changed was this optional economy, training, and career features. Also, the judges. For instance, I had a way to do all 3 judges. The 4th edition version of boxing, I think I just throw out this pretense of 3 judges, but I might not. Let's see here. Yeah. So the new version 4 of Boxing Time, uses 1 judge. And you can score the fight by either punch points, by the judge, right? Or, of course, by the combination of the 2. So you could have 1 judge give the guy who scores the most punch points the round. You could have another judge score it by KDs, cuts, etc. But I removed 3 judges. In the original Boxing Time, version 2.5, version 3, there are 3 judges. You got Judge 1, Judge 2, and Judge 3. So that's, I guess that's kind of a major change. Football Time has seen multiple versions. Between these 2, it might be to conserve page count. I may have removed all 10 teams. They may not be. The big change here was the financial rules. Again, I don't think there's financial rules. Also, the event tables added. The touchdown chart is here. So this version does not have the event chart, but I think it has a touchdown table. No, the touchdown table's not in this version, and the event chart's not in this version. Everything else, oh, and it has the full financial system in the big book. This version has an event chart, the touchdown table, and it does not have any financial data. So the one thing to know about the fourth edition, the evolution of the small coil edition, fourth edition games, I removed financial career stuff. So it just makes the career stuff so much easier. It's just less paperwork. So you'll find there's and the league got smaller. I think this is no, it's the same league, but it's there will be no allusion to actual money in this book. So there is no credits, no money tracking at all. The career modes are greatly simplified in version 4. And why did it evolve that way for the book? Not for me in particular, because I still use the financial system in my leagues for this book, because I wanted the small coil latest versions to be as practical as possible for somebody to play leagues and not have to do so much administrative accounting. So I just simplified by removing financial systems. So that's a big change from 2.5 with credits and financial systems to 4.0 where it's just simpler career modes. And then 3 has a little of both, right? You're going to have financial systems probably still in this, but there might be some tweaks to the rules of the games, right? So what is my favorite? Well, this is my sentimental favorite. You'll see me play this a lot. 1, because it's handy. I have it always around. But 2, it was at the time I released this. This was the book I was this was the book I was the most proud of. So when I finished this, especially the coil bound, fitting everything into a small coil, 209 pages. This at the time was like my, I thought, was my absolute best versions of the whole book. So the small coil is my sentimental favorite. I believe, though, when it comes down to it, the 4th edition book is the book I would like this to have been, right? I kind of wish that I had been further along in my examination of what makes the concept of playing career sports games out of a book practical. This makes it a little more practical, partially by eliminating some of the accounting and the administrative tasks, and getting the charts. Like the football games charts changed quite a bit in their scoring potential. And then, of course, the definitive edition of football has all kinds of ways to play it, etc. But the football time in this is the original possession-based game. It is not the definitive edition. That is a separate book with lots of different ways to play football time. But the point is, this is where I kind of wish 2.5 had been this tight. This is like the cleanest, tightest version of the work. 2.5 is my sentimental favorite because I was the most proud, outside of Dark Age of Man, our flagship role-playing game that Dell and I had spent 4 years making. This was my proudest book. This is the book I was most happy to say to the public. There had been a hardcover wraparound. There had been a hard book of this with a wraparound cover too at one point. But again, that was so expensive. I thought it's just not practical. A hardcover book. It's for collection, yes. For play, no. So I don't sell it anymore. And then this was for those guys, old guys like me, who want easier to read, larger, cleaner format. And it's kind of it was the progress from what do I need to fix in this, as I was getting into this before it evolved into the final versions in the small coil. If somebody were to say to me today, Jason, which book should I buy? It really does depend. Do you like the idea of your boxers having money that you have to spend and you have to have, or you'll be forced to retire? Do you want to mess around with a financial system? I don't think racing. I think I had removed the financial system from racing by the time I got here, though. because oh no, so there's still credits. I think there's allusion to credits here, but I don't have an explanation as to how you can spend those credits. I don't believe. Right. So this is so old it might no. So it does not have. So I had removed the explanation of how you can spend the money, but there's still allusion to it as how much money you earn for your victories. Oh no, here we go. And then how much it costs to hire drivers for contracts. And then, of course, how much teams start their career with in capital. So there is financial. So this has, most of the career modes have some financial piece where you're dealing with monies. Some of the games do, some of the games don't have a financial piece. By the time I got to the 4th edition, I removed all necessary need to be calculating and tracking money. So there is no money tracking for your teams or leagues at all in this final version. So that's kind of a depth thing. Do you like having to sign a driver to a 4-year contract? You know, that's in this book. It's not in this version, and it is definitely not in this version, right? So they are still, the reason they're all three still for sale is they are definitely different versions. 2.5, 3 to 3.5, 4. So they're all still unique enough that I leave them up for them. Because if not, you would never know. Oh, right, the racing game has financial. There would be no way to, have the racing version with a financial piece. As you evolve to this one, that's just, there's not even an allusion to finances in racing in this. Okay, there you have it though. But as far as like baseball, basketball, the scoring charts in this evolved a little bit. So scoring in this was a little higher. We're talking by a couple of points a game. It evolved here into there was a chance that F grade bat boss could get just 1 point per segment, and that's still true here. So this was just a little higher scoring for basketball. Baseball and hockey, soccer, rally racing, those have never changed. Boxing has seen some tweaks. Basketball has seen a little addition and tweaks. Racing has seen a slight tweak here and there, and that's it. Football time, of course, has seen changes between every version. Football time is pretty much is a little different in each of these. But like I said, baseball, hockey, soccer, rally, those have never changed. Again, I think I am working on the new. I've put out a free playtest package of the new Big Country Hockey Time. And so the community can enjoy that and play test it, and if they have any feedback, so be it. If they don't, so be it. But eventually that version of hockey will obviously I probably won't supersede it. There won't be a new Big Country with a brand new hockey game in it. These are done. I won't be making any more big books. So this is it. But a new hockey, the new version of Big Country Hockey will probably be, once I'm done with playtesting, that'll be made available as a PDF probably. So, but I won't be doing any more big 8 sport books. These are it, right? And if you were lucky enough to get one of the old hardbacks or one of the old original 7x10 paperbacks, those are collector's items now, and those versions are still fantastic. They were the step up from the old time versions to my first foray into the Big Country Advanced versions. And those books came out early, as I was so happy to get the Big Country universe out there with those games and those tweaks to those games. There is also a Time Sports version of the games, which I no longer sell, but those are all the games are different in the Time Sports versions. Big Country they're more advanced. They still allow you to play the games quickly, but they're just more advanced. There's more to them, there's more detail, etc. So that's why these are the flagships versus the Time series, which are kind of a fine line between instant, very fast play, but they have enough depth. Like you still have your lines in hockey, you still have basketball players, you still have your baseball players, but they may or may not have a great impact on the ratings for those systems, right? These do. The baseball players' ratings directly affect the pitchers versus batter duel, directly affect scoring. Basketball players directly, ball handling directly affects how much they score per period versus the defensive team or the defensive player. Hockey, you're going to roll per line for each team, and you're going to match up the defense versus the offense. You're going to get a shot on goal, or you're going to hopefully create a shot on goal. Then you're going to have your goalie attempt to stop that shot. So these are more detailed, more advanced, but they're still fairly quick games to play through. So anyway, for the brand new tome that Rodney's put out for basketball, any books of these support that. So that brand new basketball tome Rodney has provided for the community, all 3 versions, that will work with for the big boy basketball. Okay, thanks for watching. Bye-bye.